From our last video, we were talking about the general hardness and the carbonate hardness in the water. Following from there, we're going to go into the opposite direction. We're going to go into what we were talking about previous to the other video, is about softening the water and what we need to do and how we go about softening the water. There's about 4 ways you can do this, but what we're going to do, we're going to dive into it a bit deeper. Hey everyone, welcome back to Blue Fin Aquatics, where we share our experience with you. So in the opening we were talking about softening the water and that there were many techniques in which ways to do it. We're going to cover basically 4 at this moment in regards to what we need to do to soften the water. As in our previous video, we were talking about the general hardness and also the carbonate hardness. So this time around, we're going to talk, as I said, about softening the water with the 4 ways to do it. So the way we do it here is that we've got storage here, so we can store a lot of rainwater. So rainwater is a very soft water, but with the pH of being neutral. So if you'd like to soften the water, you can generally mix some rainwater with normal tap water, but you just have to watch out for the hardness. It may rise a bit, so just think about that when you go to do that. Also, there's ways you can use, which you do see on the market, which there are softening pillows, which basically what you do with those is you basically just rinse them, put them in your tank and let them sit there, and they'll start leaching out to softening the water in the tank itself. And the good thing about those is that once you've softened the water to where you want it to be, you can take them out and recharge them again. And I think you basically can do those to about 3-4 times at most, but you'll see that the use of them will start to weaken over time. And the other way you can do it too is you can always use like distilled water, which can get expensive, but again, depending on the size tank and how you want to go about doing that. But we don't use distilled water here. As we said, we just basically use rainwater, pure rainwater, but we do put some normal tap water in just to keep the minerals up there a bit. And also what we also do use here too is we use an RO system, which you've also had in previous videos as well, talked about that. So again, with your RO water, yes, it does soften the water because it strips all the minerals out of the water. However, once you've done that, again, you've got to put some minerals back into the water to be able to keep it stable. That is another way of looking at it. So when you come to breeding, again, like we've mentioned previously, is look at the species that you're actually breeding and look how and what temperament they're from, and also watch and find out exactly what the carbonate hardness is and also the general hardness, and bringing the softening water with those 4 methods there, you'll be able to achieve what you want to in regards to the species of fish you want to breed. But as I said before, you've got to make sure that you know everything about the species, because sometimes, like we do with our discus, the general hardness and the KH carbonate hardness is generally down to about 3. In some other quality fish and so forth, you can bring those up to about 7 to 10, again, depending on the species. So just to cover those 4 things that we look at, like we do here, we use the rainwater. So that's one you can look at. You can also use RO water, which basically strips the minerals out of the tap water itself, or you can use softening pillows, which are on the market, so to look out for those if you wish to go that way. And also the distilled water, you can look at doing that as you go over time. But again, as we've mentioned, distilled water does get expensive, so something to keep in mind. So we hope with these 4 things that we've told you about how about softening the water, we hope you learned from that, and hopefully you have great success in breeding your fish. From here on, our next video and the tip of the week will be is we're going to show you how to and talk about bringing your pH down. So where your pH is at the moment at 7, we're going to bring that down a bit further, again talking about the species of fish. So bring it back from a 7 if your water sits neutral 7, or if your water pH sits around about 8, we're going to show you exactly what we use here if that's the situation that we use to bring the pH down. So we hope you got a lot out of those 4 things that we're talking about softening the water. And if you like this video, please hit a like. If you want to subscribe, please do, and we look forward to seeing you in our next video. Thank you for joining us.